harvest season, farmer Jeff Holloway's day begins with a taste test.
You want a little bit of a crunch if they're soft or chewy. Pretty much tells you that you're a little bit on the wet side.
Looks can be deceiving, especially when it comes to soybeans. That's why Jeff relies on his other senses to determine whether his soybeans are ready to be harvested.
What we typically do, we'll pull a bean pod off, we'll split the hull, put the beans in our mouth, which is pretty much the simplest way to check the moisture until you run it through the machine.
The moisture level of the soybeans should be between 13 to 15%. If the beans are too dry, they can shatter, and if they're too wet, it's not the ideal time to harvest. The verdict?
These beans are pretty crunchy, pretty dry, so they're ready to be harvested today.
The Holloway Brothers Harford County farm is situated on 400 picturesque acres of rolling hills overlooking the Susquehanna River. It's been in the family for 7 generations, most recently passed from one pair of Holloway brothers to another.
My brother and I took over in '59 from my father. 2013, we turned it over to my 2 sons.
Jeff and Rick Holloway have embraced their new responsibilities, which include running the fall soybean harvest. Today, Jeff operates the combine, while his younger brother Rick runs the grain cart to collect the beans.
I guess cut on the way down and then we'll unload on the way back up.
The transition from my father and uncle to my brother and I is going good. We look at it more as a hobby than a job.
A hobby that sometimes means having to work long hours, and today won't be any different.
We've run several 12 or 14-hour days this year harvesting beans, simply because the moisture's been good.
Like most aspects of farming, harvesting beans is all weather dependent.
If it's windy overnight to where you don't have any dews or moisture, you can start 8 or 9 o'clock in the morning, and we'll usually run till 9 or 10 o'clock at night.
The moisture levels of the soybeans are calculated from inside the combine in real time.
This will tell you how many acres you've done. It'll tell you acres per hour. Tells you your actual yield, your average yield, your weight.
Soybeans are sold by the bushel, about 60 pounds. Prices fluctuate every day based on global supply and demand. In order to get a good price, the Holloway brothers have to be strategic. So they either store the crop for a while or sell it through forward contracting. This batch has already been sold.
This year we were fortunate. We got close to $2 higher a bushel this year in the summertime than we did last year, so we're just taking these right out of the field right to the broker.
This truck can hold about 33,000 pounds of soybeans. Rick is able to monitor the weight from inside the tractor.
Before it was, you didn't have this kind of stuff. Everything was done manually or with hydraulics. You had to drop one marker and then another one, but now it's all done with GPS from satellites in the sky.
Richard and his brother Henry haven't quite taken the back seat just yet. In fact, they're ready to haul away today's harvest to rice or grain. Once the truck has been weighed, the soybeans are ready to unload. Next, a sample is taken to determine their moisture content and test weight.
12.1% beans are considered dry at 13, so these ones are fine.
Back at the farm, the sun is setting and the Holloway brothers are still behind the wheel, determined to get their crop out of the field, no matter how long it takes.
We enjoy doing this, and this is what you look forward to all year. You spend 4 or 5 months growing a crop, so you look forward to the harvest time, so that in itself is enough to keep you awake.